In a piece for The Undefeated, former NFL cornerback Dominique Foxworth pleads to Aaron Rodgers to add his voice to the Black Lives Matter protest. Currently, the expectation of athletes to take a stand on social issues falls only on black athletes, as if we're the only athletes with the responsibility for the advancement of society. I assume you agree with me when I say every person has an equal obligation to advance our society, black or white, celebrity or not, athlete or fan. So please, be the leader I believe you are. Be the first white superstar athlete to accept some of the burden black athletes are currently shouldering alone, and say Black Lives Matter. Stephen A., should Rodgers speak out more?
Yes, he should, but I think that where I disagree with the article, which I haven't read it in its entirety, but I saw those quotes, where I disagree with it somewhat is pinning it on Aaron Rodgers. Yep. I think any white star in professional sports that has reach, that has cachet, that has the ability to galvanize folks to listen and hear what they have to say should be conscientious enough to speak up. You don't have to wax eloquently or attempt to about issues you're not familiar with. But I do think it's incumbent upon you to say something. I don't believe it's incumbent upon Aaron Rodgers to step forward and to say Black Lives Matter. I've been on, I took heat from Black Lives Matter because I said maybe there was a problem with your name because it should have said Black Lives Matter too, as opposed. But I do understand Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, my man Joe Madison for SiriusXM, and others, explained to me what that was or what that was all about, why the word "to" wasn't deemed necessary, and I appreciate them educating me on that. But the bottom line is this. I think that as black people, we have to accept something here. White folks are not black. And as a result, the level of sensitivity that we have towards certain issues, they may not have. Now, that doesn't mean they shouldn't speak out. That shouldn't mean that when there's injustices that are taking place, that we all shouldn't be a universal voice in our society. But at the same time, it amazes me how on so many occasions we as a black community expect and anticipate that those outside the black community are going to have more sensitivity towards our issues than as we should. It doesn't work that way. It would be nice if it were that way. It would be incredibly beneficial when you think about civil rights and civil rights legislation and the battle and the fight for civil rights, how it took place and how there were some white folks that stepped into the fray and assisted black folks in making sure that we ultimately were able to acquire those rights. The flip side to it is that as we've evolved as a society, as we've seen more and more people from all walks of life suffering and struggling the way that they do, the fact of the matter is that we would like folks to be sensitive to our plight, but we shouldn't anticipate and expect them to. And more importantly, we shouldn't expect anybody to help us more than we're willing to help ourselves. And so as a black community, I think it's incumbent upon us to recognize that while we want people out there to help and assist us in our goals in fighting off demons that continue to sift through our communities like viruses, it's incumbent upon us to do for ourselves, to do as much for ourselves as possible. So when we want assistance from somebody else, it's plausible that we may receive it because they're looking at us as an example to assist with and to follow, as opposed to us just screaming at them as to what they should be doing instead of focusing on what we should be doing for ourselves.
Yep, although it's incumbent upon everybody to speak out against injustice, I think, wherever they find it, particularly egregious injustice. And I think Foxworth's point, and I hope I'm representing him properly here, is that Rodgers in particular, as the best player in the world, as a guy who's shown a political orientation that suggests, or at least a social orientation, that suggests that he would be sensitive to this issue, who has shown intelligence. Foxworth's asking him to take the next step in terms of showing the courage and the kind of forward-thinking point of view that he would come out now and show sense and say the words Black Lives Matter. Now, And by the way, it would be nice, as an, you know, to add to that, if it wasn't because all lives matter, because as you said, it's Black Lives Matter parenthetically too, because in this country it has not, oh, it's obvious Black Lives Matter. No, in this country it has been obvious most of the time that Black lives do not matter throughout the history of our country.
Right. That is accurate.
Here's my problem with it. Black Lives Matter as a slogan, as an idea, I like very much. Black Lives Matter as an organization and movement has now put out a political platform, which includes ideas that maybe someone like Aaron Rodgers or others, white or black, wouldn't be comfortable supporting, including the immediate release and retroactive decriminalization of prostitution and drug offenders, and their records should be expunged. Maybe not everyone's going to agree with that. Divestment from Israel, they point out as the example of the country.
That was one of them.
Right. I mean, this is a platform that the idea of Black Lives Matter is uncontroversial, or should be to any intelligent, evolved person. But these ideas, this platform, is not going to be so obvious and is going to be controversial. And so once Black Lives Matter presents a political platform, then using that slogan, which on its face is completely correct, is associated with a host of other ideas that maybe Aaron Rodgers or others wouldn't be comfortable supporting.
Those are fair points, but to bring it back home to Aaron Rodgers, I don't want to hear Aaron Rodgers. Let me take that back. I understand Aaron Rodgers' name coming up in Foxworth's column if you're piggybacking directly off of what has transpired in recent days in Milwaukee. Okay? The riots that broke out, you know, burning the cars, you know, some of the violence, et cetera, because a police officer shot, shot a black man. But let's keep in mind, the black man that was shot had a gun. We don't know all the details because we may find out that there's some transgression that took place we don't know. But from what we know, there was a black individual shot. The officer who shot him was black. What does Aaron Rodgers have to do with that? I'm just asking the question. We also got to take into account the fact that just an hour and a half away in the streets of Chicago, we still got a problem that's existing there. That's why we'll be there next week. That's why the Undefeated is going there next week, because there are shootings that have been taking place in Chicago at record numbers, which has alarmed all of us. We've got black folks saying the president needs to speak up and say more because he's a junior senator from that area. And we hadn't heard enough from him. In all likelihood, because Rahm Emanuel, his former chief of staff, is the mayor in Chicago right now. We don't know. We just know that we would like to hear more from him on what's been taking place in Chicago. What I'm saying is, in closing, is this. Once again, black, black victim, black police officer, Milwaukee. Black on black crime in Chicago. African-American president who we would like to hear more from on the issues in Chicago. Yes, it would be nice if white folks would join in and assist in any way we can, because this is America. Y'all do make up 66% of the population, and we would greatly appreciate any assistance that you conscientiously are willing to provide. However, in the end, it still comes down to what the black community is willing to do with and for the black community in order to move forward. And that ain't on Aaron Rodgers.
But although he should come on this show to discuss it with us, Stephen A.
I wouldn't say that.
Love that.
Well, he don't need to. Listen, he could just come on the show because he's Aaron Rodgers. Period.
Yes, and as you alluded to, the Undefeated holding a town hall on Thursday in Chicago discussing athletes and social issues, and then we will be there on Friday and also reacting and getting involved in all of it. So we're looking forward to that.
So what's up, man? Why did you need to see me?
What kind of manpower do you have at your disposal these days?
The best kind. Solid group, talented, loyal.
Discreet?
Come on now. How long have we known each other?
How long will it take you to round them up?
How soon do you need them?
Yesterday.
I'll make the arrangements. We'll also get you any information on any bank transfers in case Julian hires somebody to move the money he'll need to pay his way.
Probably his sister, Ava, you know.
You know she's already on the list.
So glad you helped me with this. Because I tell you what, if the court won't exact justice on Julian, I will.
You'll make the arrangements. You got us. You got everybody.
Hit her.
Smooth. I think it's pretty good.
I'm doing all right.
You're
I'm
doing
all right.
more than all right.
I'm doing all right.
You're
I'm doing
more
all right.
than all right.
It's cool. It's
Is
cool.
that what the pinstripe is about today? Is it Gangster Day?
No, it's a new suit I had. I figured I'd probably try to rock it today. That's all.
You know what I love? My phone was blowing up yesterday. It's my aunt. Stephen A's back on General Hospital.
No.
She loves it.
I must say.
It's her favorite show
I
as
must
well.
say, you know, obviously it's soaps, so there's a whole bunch of women that watch the shows. I want to say to all the women, all the ladies out there that are General Hospital fans, I love y'all. They've shown me
Say
nothing
hi
but
to my
love.
Aunt Linda,
They've
too.
they've
Can you
shown
do
me
that?
they've shown me nothing but love. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I'm touched. Thank y'all.
Good.
Thank y'all very much.
Good, good, good.
Thank you. Thank you. He's coming back because it's about to get, you know. It's,
Oh, got to after
Another
that.
level.
no, it's a bunch.
You're just setting up the
It's some
arrangements.
scenes coming up with Sonny Corinthos. You don't want to miss General Hospital in the coming weeks. I'm telling y'all that right now. So I'm gonna have to go out there and tape a
Do
few
your
more
thing?
scenes.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be back.
We love it.
Brick will be back.
Okay.
Brick will be back.
I'm jealous. He's going to play a gangster on TV.
Right? That's the
That's
dream.
right. That's the dream.